Why don't you all sit near one another? I guess only in plays you do that, right? I guess. Well, I always say, nice things come in small packages. We're just the elite of Albany being here together tonight, aren't we? Yes. Now then, you're very silent, all of you.
Yay!
Thank you. I don't understand what that table's for.
That's
That's
for
for the
dance.
Q&A later on.
That's questions in a...
You have to get up there and
really?
dance.
And for those of you who don't know, this is Betsy Palmer, Mrs. Voorhees.
Yes. May I say the same for you, for loving the picture as long as you have and how you've enjoyed it. Picture that I said when I read the script, I said, what a piece of shit. Nobody's ever going to do this. You heard that because you're going to hear stuff that you read on websites and all because it's all sort of the truth. And, do I have to be on the microphone? Actually, I think you probably wanted to say something like introduce me, right?
Well, that's okay.
Here's Betsy Palmer.
No, we did that, Rosa.
Well, we'll do it again.
Oh, my. Well, where shall we begin? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Or do you want me to sit down at that table?
Here's the
No, it
microphone
doesn't
here.
mock snakes, we don't
Betsy,
care.
here's a microphone here if you want.
Yeah, but then I'm blocked behind something.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, thank you. It was very sweet that you did all this. I really like it. Yeah, I might sit here on the table. I'm going to stand up. Well, I found the light finally. Found the key light, right, to those of you. Are you all filmmakers or film goers?
Yes.
Both? Filmmakers, though, some of you? Somebody raised a little hand off the back of the chair up there. I just didn't know your interest in movies of this nature. Is it you've always loved? You can speak up, this can be a dialogue. Have you always loved horror films?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Rosa. That's because you make them. Well, I really don't think, first of all, I have to admit that this is the 25th year. Whoever would have thought it would become a cult film, I certainly didn't. And when I see it tonight, because I will stay and see it with you, partners in crime, all of us, I feel that, I have to admit it will be the third viewing of it that I've ever seen. And so when I'm talking about it, you're just going to say, what does she know? She hasn't seen the movie. But I can tell you about Mrs. Voorhees. Let me tell you how I got into it. You probably know, because as I say, I've been interviewed many times, and there have been, stories in papers and magazines and things like that. I can tell you something. There are strange things about my life where indications of what is going to come to pass in my life have come to pass. Like when I was a young child, about 7 or 8, my favorite book was a book called I Know a Secret. And I ended up doing I've Got a Secret, the game show for 10 years till it went off the air. My first dramatic show, nighttime dramatic show, which was called Hollywood Screen Test, where they took an unknown and a known. And Jackie Cooper was the known, I was the unknown, and I had seen him in the first movie I ever saw in my life, which was Treasure Island. And then I did a show with Louise Reiner, and I also did a tryout of a pre-Broadway play with Paul Muni. I'm probably saying names that you're all so young you don't know, but you should know Mr. Muni because he was one of the greatest film actors around. He was the original Scarface. And I saw Louise Reiner and Mr. Muni in my second film, which was called The Good Earth. And to get back to Friday the 13th, someone, actually the young man who's just produced and directed and wrote Penny Dreadful, which is a film that I have a minor role in it. It's a 30-minute independent film that is receiving all kinds of awards and accolades, and it's a wonderful, wonderful 30-minute film. It really, and it's not a horror film, and yet it's very frightening, very scary. But the thing that I'm reverting back to, that man who wrote it, showed me a copy of Cosmopolitan magazine where there had been an interview with me many, many, many years ago, maybe back in the 60s or something. And at the end of the article, it's about 3 or 4 pages long, I say at the end, if only somebody will give me the opportunity to do a horror movie. And because I was so tired of being regarded as the girl next door, you know. I've never lived next door to a girl I ever wanted to be like, I must say. But, you know, to be that, you know, that sweetie, that's hard. Betty White and I both, we get together and our mouths are like sewers because we're the only two that can talk to each other that way and nobody having a cat fit about it. So if I've, you know, stuck a pin in your balloon about what I am, too bad. I really miss his Voorhees. About 25 years ago, I was on Broadway doing Same Time Next Year. And I did the last year and a half of the run of that show. Just to let you know, I really am an actress and I do other things. And I was in the lead in the last Tennessee Williams play while he was still alive, and I got to know him, and it was a very wonderful. So anyway, so much for that, just to give you some credentials about me. But I was doing the play, and to drive home to my home in Connecticut at the time was an hour and 15 minutes at the most. And I left the city driving, car broke down, and it just stopped. And I wasn't quite sure whether I was on I-95. I didn't know whether I was in New York. I didn't know whether I was in Connecticut. And when you want the police, right, they never show up. I'm sitting there for hours. Finally, some man stopped behind my car, and perfect stranger, and he said, you've got problems? And I said, well, yeah. I said, if I could only get to a telephone. And I don't know that cell phones were as big then as they are now, which I still don't have one anyway, but very square I am. Anyway, he took me in his car and dropped me off at a telephone on a street corner in some little side street, which I thought it was very nice of him not to, you know, have done something bad to me. I didn't even think about that. Anyway, the upshot of it was that I didn't get home until after 5 o'clock in the morning. I said to the universe, I need a new car. I've got to have a new car. So the next day I'm talking to my daughter on the phone, and Melissa said, well, she said, if you're going to look at cars, why don't you look at a Scirocco, which was the Volkswagen people. So I went. She said, it's so cute. The little hind end is up in the air. And very cool. You'll look cool in it, Mother. And so I said, okay. I went to look. It was $9,999.50 or something. We're talking 25 years ago. So, you know, not the expensive with cars now, well. Anyway, so there it was. On Friday, that's all on Wednesday. On Friday, my agent calls and said, how would you like to do a movie? And I said, great. I said, I haven't done a movie since the 1960s. And I said, California? And he said, no. He said, it's going to be shot over in New Jersey. It's 10 days' work. They'll pay you $1,000 a day. And I said, oh, there's my car. And he said, there's just one catch about it. And I said, well, what's that? And he said, oh, it was 10 days' work. He said, well, it's a horror film. And I said, oh, no. No. I have spent 10 years trying to live down being a game player on television. And I said, and now to add a horror film to my legacy of as an actress? I said, no. And then I thought about the car. And I said, well, send me the script. So he did. And I read the script. And as I said, what a piece of shit. Nobody's ever going to see this. It will come, it will go. I'm only in the last 10 minutes of it. Nobody will see it. I'll have my little car, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Well, 25 years later, here we are. I'm in Albany talking to all of you about a film that I didn't think would ever make it. 2 things in my life that I have dismissed: the game show, I've Got a Secret, and the movie, Friday the 13th, #1. And 2 things that I've dismissed in my life, which are the 2 things that are still keeping me alive and still making people know that, not financially, I made the $10,000, but there's never been any money as far as residuals and all are concerned. That long ago, there weren't residuals, and especially for an independent film. So I'm still working, keeping my head above water. I just had my 80th birthday on November 1st, a couple of weeks ago. So it's just by the grace of, that who knows how much longer that'll be. Anyway, I'd like to talk to you about the character of Mrs. Voorhees. Because since I've told you I am an actress, and a very sincere actress, I always do preparation for a character before I actually come upon the scene. Whether it's on stage, whether it's in film, it doesn't matter. There is a life that exists for all of these characters before they walk on stage or before you see them on film. When I was reading the script, there was one shot, and of course this is all on paper, but of a hand, and it had a school ring, a high school ring on one of the fingers. And I said to myself, that's it. She's my age. She went to school the same time that I did back in the 1940s, high school. And back then you went steady, and you wore the guy's ring with a lot of tape around it, or to make it fit, or around your neck on a piece of string. So I said, okay, I can relate to that. I can understand the 1940s. All right, that's for beginners for her. Now, in those days, we were pretty uptight about making love, making out. I don't know what people call it anymore. Well, I know what they call it, but I'm not going to use the F word. Obviously, cool. So anyway, right now that is. I thought to myself, what happened to her was that they were very much in love. They did make love with one another, and she became pregnant. Now, I'm making this up, mind you. This is not in the script, so you have to remember that. So I decided that she said to the young man, the boy at school, I'm pregnant, and what are we going to do? And he said, oh, get away from me. No. I can't do anything about it. So she decided that she would just try to carry through with the whole idea and hope that her family wouldn't notice. Well, after she was pregnant, about 6-7 months, she did begin to show her pregnancy. So the father had to be told, and he has a terrible, terrible anger with her. And get out of my door, don't you ever come back again. I never want to see you. How dare you disgrace the family, the whole thing. This is just this kid in high school, 10th grade or whatever. And so she leaves. And at that time, I had been involved with the Salvation Army and on their advisory board for 25 years, as a matter of fact. And I used to go sometimes and have lunch at a place that they had, a home they had for unwed mothers. So I figured she went to the Salvation Army, had the baby there. Now, time goes by, she still doesn't know how to earn a living, and this summer camp job, when the little boy's about 5 or 6, comes along, and she thinks, oh, how wonderful my child can be with other boys and girls and have a nicer life. And so I knew that I could wash dishes and that I could cook and things like that, and I would be there with him. Now, the day that I drove up to Camp Nobi Bosco in Blairstown, New Jersey, Nobi Bosco means North Bergen County Boy Scout Camp. And I see this sign as I'm getting ready in the car that, by the way, broke down. I'm still chugging along in that car. And there's a sign, and it said, by the side of the road, Crystal Lake. And I thought, oh, wow, here's another thing in my life. I spent my summers on the Crystal Lake in Warsaw, Indiana, when I was a kid from about the age of 3 to about 9 or 10 years old. So I thought, well, maybe that's a good omen. I drive in, they shoo me right into Tommy Savini's room where he was doing all the special effects. Tommy Savini had just started. Well, he didn't have all of the business and everything that he does now. Brilliant, just a brilliant artist in his own right. So we're in there, and he's getting the plaster of Paris ready, and he gave me a pile of Polaroid shots to look at of all the stuff he had done before I came, because they had been shooting the movie. They started in June, and by the time they got to my stuff, it was September, I think almost going into October, because there were some nights it was so cold that we had snow, and we couldn't shoot. As a matter of fact, I remember one scene, all the steam was coming out of my mouth, and I said, get me some ice. Maybe some ice cubes will make my mouth as cold as the outside air, because that's going to look a little weird in the middle of June, where the frost is on the pumpkin thing. But no, it didn't work. We tried it. I think they cut that out of the movie. I don't know whether it may still be in it. Who knows? So I get to a picture, and I said to him, who is this? And he said, oh, that's your son, Jason. I said, and I didn't have my contact lens on. I said, why does he look so strange? And he said, oh, he's a mongoloid. I said, what? I said, that wasn't in the script. I thought, oh my God, not only does she have a child out of wedlock, but the little boy is not all together there, and he's got this whole blight on his bean patch. And I thought, oh my God, no wonder, this woman, she's really been given trial by fire, and she's still a young woman, or was then. So I thought, okay, I went back to my motel, and I began thinking, yeah, we have to just kind of, this is justification for her losing it. This is why I'm telling you this. So, in the film, I think they talk about that the camp has had the water poisoned, that the camp has tried to be burned down. There's all of these things that she has attempted to do to keep the camp closed. That's all she wants. She is not out there to destroy people. She just wants it to be closed so that won't happen to another child, which I think makes perfect sense. Rose is nodding her head, yes. So what I did was incorporated all of that into it. And I said to Sean one day, Sean Cunningham, I said, you're not giving the people who are going to see this movie a break. A fair break. I said, you should have me somewhere, like sitting in that coffee shop or whatever it is off in the corner, just a little clue. He said, no, Betsy. He said, no, he said, just forget that. It doesn't matter. It's like in that first scene when I go into the cabin with Adrienne King, and she's piling all that furniture up against the door, and panic to high heaven. And I said to Sean, we started to shoot the scene, I said, Sean, wait a minute. I said, you can't shoot it this way. The door opens out. Not in. He said, they'll never notice it. I think they did something. They have her wiring the door or something with some rope or something like that. Like when I hit her in the movie. I guess Adrienne talks about this. When we're in some sort of a barn and there were a bunch of bales of hay, and again at night, and I said to Adrienne, I said, well, come on, let's rehearse the scene where I smack you, where I hit you. She says, okay. Now, in the theater, when you hit somebody, you hit them. But you know how to hit them with your hands so that you catch it along the cheekbones so that you don't hurt them and you don't break their cheekbone, not the jawbone down here, the cheekbone's up here. Anyway, so we're standing in the corner, we're doing the whole thing, and I go, whappo. She crumbles to the ground. Sean, and she's tears bawling like crazy. Sean comes over, he says, what happened? She said, she hit me. I said, well, of course I hit her. I said, this is what the scene is about, that I've just given her away. He said, no, Betsy, you don't do that. No. I said, not in movies, he said. I said, well, what do you do? I said, the camera's right there. He said, no, you miss her. And we just put the sound effects in. I don't know whether they put the sound effects in. I don't think so. Maybe they did. I'm not sure. We'll know today. I'm telling you all these little inner things. And so that's the truth about that story. I missed her. And I thought it was pretty dumb at the time. Then, shortly after that, we had to go down to the beach to do the beach scene. And we do all of that stuff where I take that poor kid's hair. I really didn't. I mean, she had to go with me. She cooperated. Nice gal, by the way, very nice girl. And she, I'm banging her head in the sand, and she's hitting me with the oar or whatever the whole thing is. So we finished the scene, and I went up to the cabin because we were staying in these little cabins, using them for makeup and for wardrobe and things of that nature. And I'm getting out of my wet clothes, and one of the guys came up and said, "Betsy, do you want to see your head cut off?" I said, "You've got to be kidding." I said, "No way, I couldn't care less." So I never knew until just recently the formula of how they went ahead to do it. Actually, Adrian says that she holds the machete at one point, but it's Tom Savini who actually does cut the head off. And the head was actually the young man, not the head, but the body, that you saw all through the film, that you see all through the film. Do I have hair on the back of my hands? That one shot with a ring on it or something? It's a man's hand. I don't just, take the hair off my hands these days. I thought, well, all right. In a movie that I did with Joan Crawford, when there's a foot hanging in Queen Bee in the stable after I've committed suicide, it's not my foot. It's Barry Sullivan's stand-in foot, so there's a guy's foot there. I'm destined to be impersonated by men. I don't know. Anyway, somebody sent me a photograph just recently, and it showed the young man, whose name I don't remember now, but Tommy's assistant, and he's in the costume again, the pants and the sweater, Mrs. Voorhees' sweater, and which I was going to wear tonight. It's not the real one, but I have one that looks similar, but I thought it's better that I should look like a human being, right? So instead of trying to be the character for you, I am the character for you already. And what it is that he has the sweater on, and somehow they mounted a part of a body on his shoulder and the head. And so he's down below, his head's here, this other one's coming over the shoulder, and I guess what happens was that he dropped his own head down, and Tommy did whatever he did. I think that's how that special effect was done. I couldn't swear to it, but that's what the picture shows. So, let's see, what more can I tell you? Do any of you have questions that you'd like to ask at this point? Yes?
Did they come to you for the sequel?
I did the head mock-up and the voiceover for the second one because it was done by our associate producer. Miller is his name? The second one.
Meyer? The second movie.
What?
Steve
Yeah.
Meyer?
What's his name?
Steve Meyer?
Steve, yeah, right, Steve Meyer. And because I liked him, and I said, sure, I'll come and do that. I do get $15 like once every six months or so for that one, for having to do. But somebody just told me recently at an autograph signing convention that the head, the picture with the head in the middle of something that I say looks like whipped cream with all those candles around it and all, and it looks like she's sitting in the middle of Jason's birthday cake. I think it's his birthday that I do all this bad stuff. But they say that it's another woman, that somebody wrote something and that it's another actor or an actress or somebody who, that's their head. It doesn't look like me, but then you wouldn't know with all the glomp and everything all over anyway. So I sort of feel raped a little bit that they took somebody else's head and did it. They've asked me to do 3 other ones. And there were a couple that were being done up in Canada. And the last one, of course, was Freddie from Elm Street. But 2 lines, right, at the graveside, where she says, "You promised me you'd kill all those people," whatever, It's not a role. 2 lines. They say there's no small parts, only small actors, or vice versa. Not so. And I thought, no, Voorhees is a classic. She really is. And I had a lovely scene, or scenes that I was able to do to establish that, there was a fulfillment of the character. And these other things, and they don't want to pay any money. Mr. Cunningham must have billions and whatever, but, SAG minimum, come on. So, and anyway, as I say, it's not enough. It's not enough. Now, if there was a really interesting director that was going to be doing, there was a rumor that Tarantino, is that his name, the director, was going to be doing one. I thought, well, to work with that madman, you know, it might be fun and interesting, and he'd probably maybe have something happen that could be. But if not, I can't see doing that. That sort of answer your question? Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts about how they can boost up their renew their or keep the interest going in a hard chapter to make it new and suit the actor than
See, my theory about why the first one is captivating as it is, and it really does capture the audiences, is that it allows the audience to use their imagination. That everything isn't just blather with saws in your face and blood, and it's the suggestion of something. Now there's special effects, yes, you know, the axe in the middle of the forehead and the archery thing or whatever. I can't really remember what all those special effects are, but I think that is the secret of it, and I think that's the secret of any good, I don't want to use the word melodrama, and they're not really horror films. There are horror films, the things where you shrink back in horror and, you know, you're aghast with everything. But I think that the secret of it, I mean, look at Hitchcock. Look at that beautiful Psycho, that movie. Look at all of that. It's a lot is left. They never showed, you know, somebody going into the shower with Janet Leigh and, you know, you have the big fight and all of that. And all you see is a lot of blood going down the drain. You know, that freaks you out. It's wonderful. So I think that what they're trying to do is that, and by the way, I do not buy the guy in the mask. Not at all. I say she's crazy, but she's not insane. And I never would have done all of that if my little boy hadn't been at the bottom of Crystal Lake, which by the real name of that lake is Sand Pond. Sandpond. Somebody just told me that a few weeks ago at a convention, because he's a Boy Scout there, and he said that's the name of it. No, I don't. You know, it's making money. That's what it's there for. They've a franchise, I guess. Now Sean's back into doing them and all of that. I don't know. It's established it in a strange way, and maybe it has established Mrs. Voorhees in an interesting way. You know, the thing is that I find so absolutely delightful and wonderful is that how well and loved Mrs. Voorhees is, Pamela Voorhees. I didn't even know that was her name for years till people started talking about it and writing, wanting autographs. I get autographs from seekers from all over the world. I just had somebody who sent me from Greece. I don't mean big bags of, you know, mail. No, just, you know, requests every now and then. But Malaysia, Germany, England, Spain, Italy, South America. Oh, I mean, everywhere. Really, it's quite amazing. And the sad thing is that in this country, and I was hoping that this particular one that we're going to see tonight, because I'm going to sit here with you and watch it, it's an edited version, which is a shame. In Europe, they see the full context of the way it originally was done. In Japan, they do. And last night at dinner, I think that Jeff said that, or James, I'm not sure which, about the initials, JAP, was it? About the kind of camera, not the camera, but what you see the film showing through. That's why we can't use the unedited version. Do you know PAL something? I don't know. It's a kind of.
Oh yeah, the PAL, right.
Yeah. Oh God, you came to the party. Good. No, it's in the unedited, which is what I saw originally. The first scene of it, they showed it to us and our families and things like that. Is that you see my head roll down the beach, Kevin Bacon, you got the stiletto in the neck with the drips of blood coming down. You can now buy it in this country, but you have to have that show. Or I think you pointed out last night that if on your computer or something that you are able to view that one. And it's more specific about things. And I think a better film. It's been edited to the very marrow of the bones of it all. Because God forbid that we should frighten our children on television with Friday the 13th after everything else that's going on, wars and all that jazz. Anyway, so that's one of these days. I know I have a friend who I gave the one edition the not unedited, and he's going to have a copy of it made somehow for friends who can do it. I don't know. So I'll get to see that again. But it's too bad because it adds another dimension to it. Yeah, but that's the way it goes. I don't know whether that, yes.
Follow-up question. Do you feel like there's any need for like a badly done spawn up their sequels if it throws like out of proportion? They'll need their story based on the character, or can't do like accurate proportion of like a remake there to film. There was really no need to it if they can't.
Well, they seem to be running out of ideas. I mean, there's everything on Broadway, not everything on Broadway, but so much on Broadway is revitalizing the old stuff and being very successful.
I'm talking film stuff.
Film, no, but I'm talking about
All
the
right.
same thing about film. I mean, you see Paul Muni in the original Scarface, not that, not De Niro, the other one, Pacino, isn't brilliant in what it is he does, but, they do feel that they have to be remaking these things. I guess it makes money, or maybe Hollywood is just running dry. I would say that the movies, the cinema should be in the hands of all of you who are doing the, your fresh ideas and doing a movie that doesn't cost $3 million and exciting because you're caring about it too. I think they're losing it out there. I think it's going to, you have India. Their films are actually over there are more important. They're the films of things that they make. They're taking over Hollywood, greed is a terrible thing. And when it all comes down to just money, and I don't know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know that I answered it too well. Yes, Mr. Photographer.
Is there a role that you would still like to play that you haven't accomplished in your career?
I'm just lucky to get a job every now and then. I don't know. No, I don't think so. There were theater roles that I wanted to do that I never did do. I always wanted to play Medea, and I always wanted to play Saint Joan. I'm strange. I don't fall into it. As old as I am, I'm not really what you call the dumpling grandma. I just, and I'm not interested in being a sweet, lady or whatever. Annie Main, yes, something like that. But I don't know if something comes along that I'm supposed to play, but I don't go wishing for it. I really I go out around and do love letters all over the country doing fundraising for, excuse me, tickle in the throat, for universities and colleges and hospitals and hospices and things like that I've been doing that. So it keeps me busy enough and active, and I love to play the role in love letters. And I do it sometimes with actors, and I'm going to be doing it outside of Boston and Newton next weekend with a OBGYN doctor that I've known. He was my ex-husband's associate for 50-some years, so Waldo and I are going to be doing it up there for a Jewish center of some sort. So, yes, but you asked me a lot of questions outside. I will be with you in just one moment. Yes. Yes, your turn now.
I just wanted to say that you don't look like an axe murderist. You certainly haven't been fooled.
See,
Is it too late to leave safely?
You should be so lucky that I get you with my ex. No, don't you see that she's not an axe murderess when I tell you this story about her? This is a poor lady who's been ripped over the coals for so many years of her life. And she just loses it after a while. You know, you gotta lose it after a while. You really do. Especially when she's trying to stamp that camp out. I never killed anybody before that. But thank you. That's very sweet of you to say that. But I am a Scorpio. And we got bad stings. Yes, young man.
Before you murdered one of the counselors, how did you make your voice sound like a child's voice?
Well, all I did was Sean just put me in front of a microphone, and we just did it. I mean, kill her, mommy, mommy, kill her. It's just, you know, you put it up here in your cheekbones and the sinuses. And then that's 25 years ago, and my voice was a lot lighter in those days. But, yeah, I don't know, you just, ooh, ooh. That card outside, the placard outside, with my picture on it announcing that we were all going to be together. Rosa, she's the one that did it. And she and her husband are filmmakers, producers, also work for newspapers.
And you do independent films, right, Betsy?
Yes, I do.
For little or no
Yes,
money, right?
I've done too, that's right. That's right, it's okay. I figure, what the heck? That's what I'm here for, is to be with all of you and for all of you. And for myself, too. I mean, I do get a lot of scripts. Stinky. Some of them. You know. But, you know, that's okay, too. What else? Shall we get on with the movie? Maybe? Oh, no.
Who did the voice when the girl was in the cabin and
In the
your
storm?
heart wanted to lure her outside, like, help
In
me,
the
help me during the
rainstorm?
rainstorm? Yeah.
Yeah, that's my voice.
Oh, was it?
I think so. I did all kinds of stuff like that, and they just snipped it in and put it in. I think one of the craziest things about that movie, and, you know, it just happened. I heard the man who did the music being interviewed one day on the radio, and he explained that was a mistake. That he had really was using words, and somehow when he was playing it back, it went into this and then they kept it in the film. I have found when I remember I was in Philadelphia doing a play one night, and after the show, we all had digs in apartments, you know, we were renting little places that had kitchens, and we were picking up groceries and stuff like that, and I was pushing the wagon along in this grocery store, and all behind, suddenly behind me, I heard, I turned around, he said, I knew it was you. I knew it. So that's been kind of, it's, you know, I at first I was sort of like, backing away from admitting that the film, and now actually I embrace it and love it now, and love the character. Oh, and that's one last thing that I'll say. I have not been able to understand why they love her so much. Until one day, about 6 months ago, I was driving home from a convention, and it dawned on me, she is the perfect mother. Not only will she kill for her son, she'll die for him. And every kid wants their parents to do just that, you know? We all have. So I figure that's why Mrs. Voorhees is a winner. Okay, thank you very much. Hey, I loved watching it with all of you. Yeah, it made me not so scared. And you know, if you saw the monitor, you could really see things clearly. This was kind of fuzzy, so that made it even better. When she hit me with a rubber skillet on my head. Yeah. Well, I must say, of its genre, it's okay. I guess I'm glad I did it. Who knows? You can't regret anything in your life. But you're blessed, sweet people to be here today. Thank you. And we'll do it again somehow, someplace, somewhere. We enjoyed it, didn't we? Are there any questions and stuff? Oh, he brought me some water. Thank you, Patrick. Listen, thank Patrick for putting all of this together. in having this festival.
And if anybody wants Betsy's autograph, feel free to ask, right?
Yeah, I will sign autographs for you and things like that. And, some young man here has brought a lot of stuff that he wants signed, so I'll be happy to do that. Is that you? No. Okay. Any questions? There can be any questions? See what I meant about not everything being revealed to you? The camera, the eye of the camera, I am the camera. Yeah, that's keeping it that way. It's very funny, I met some man recently, again at one of the conventions, and he was a friend of Sean Cunningham's. And Sean came up to him, because Sean has made a couple of other films, 2 or 3, that weren't successful. And he came up to this guy, he said, I've got a picture, he said, I want you to invest in, I want you to put some money in it. And the guy said, oh yeah. He said, is it a good script? He said, no, the script is no good, but it's a great title, Friday the 13th. So it isn't the greatest script in the world, as you well know, but all of you who are making the movies, you know, let the imagination work for the audience. Let them do the work. Meet you more than halfway. Yeah. All right. Love her, Mommy, love her. I don't know, where would you like to do the signing? Right here?
Where do you think it would work best? Will this work, do you think?
Yeah.
Sure.
Doing it right here?
Yeah, well.
And I'll tell you what, I brought some pictures, and I will give you all a picture. You can pick out what you want, and I'll sign it for you. How's that? No money involved.
What a gal. What a gal.
Sit here, let's open up the box. And for those of you who want to remember me as looking nice, at one point in my life, I brought a few of those. Not Mrs. Voorhees. Not Mrs. Voorhees. And I even brought a pen. Oh, where did I put it? Oh, there it is. So. There's one here that is got German on it because it's a poster in Germany. And you'll see it when you come down here, and I've got the dagger, the knife, or whatever the hell it is. And the shadow makes it look like I'm picking my teeth with it. So that's good for a laugh. And then the other one is me looking like better, but the same sort of thing. And then the other one is me long ago.
Control yourself, Pat. I heard it. He says, oh, what a babe.
All right, let's put these things out of the way, all right? So if you just want to come down, we can do it.
I'll have this one.
I knew you were going to take that one. Just him talking at you out there. Yeah, I should say. What's your name? Lindsay. Lindsay. Hi. Okay.
It's a pleasure.
Do you want your name? Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah.
It's truly a good experience.
Well, I'm glad. I hope I made some sense. You see, now when I was seeing it, I thought, oh, I can get some of those pictures right in my head from long ago. Because they did smack her and they did put the sound in. So, hi, how are you? What's your name? Tom. Voorhees? I don't know where they ever came up with that name. As I say, I had her unmarried, but who knows? Thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you all for being here very much. Would you like that one? Me picking my teeth in the shadow. What's your name? Marty. And what is your name? Michael. That's my nephew's name. You like to be called Mike? Would you like one from the past, my darling?
When I used to watch you on television every week.
I've got a secret. Melissa's now 44. How about that?
When they surprised you in the show
On the show and brought
you
her
said,
out.
I just left you in the bathtub.
In the bathtub, that's
saw
right. You do remember.
Yes.
What's your name? I do. You're welcome so much. Oh, well, I didn't know. I didn't put too many of those in. What's your name?
Ian.
Ian.
Ian,
Oh, I
all the way from London, England.
There, I was going to say very British, that.
You can beat London, you sure you can.
Yes, I was over there for Princess Margaret's wedding. Arthur Treacher was on I've Got a Secret, and the secret was that he was going to send me to London the next day for the wedding of Princess Margaret, and I wrote it up in the newspaper there, and oh, it was very nice.
Very nice, very good movie, I really enjoyed it.
Thank you,
First
Ian.
time I've seen it.
Is it the first time?
First time.
You're about as bad. Oh, really? Oh, all right.
I really enjoyed
It's
it.
another song.
I really enjoyed
isn't
it.
Thank you, I'm glad, I'm glad. Yes, and you with all the questions, I'm not sure I answered.
Your host mentioned there's a Voorheesville in the area.
No.
That's about 10 minutes away from here.
Voorheesville?
Yeah.
I know there are Voorhees streets and things like that, I've seen that.
I believe it's
Sort
a
of
Dutch
interesting.
name. It's
Oh,
a lot
maybe,
of
yes,
Dutch history.
it sounds like it, with the double O, yeah, and the double E. Very
Thank you
Dutch.
very much.
Thank you very much, Chris, yes. Thank you, there's our friend. Oh, you want those, okay. The name again? Joel, I'm sorry. Oh, Joel Goldsmith, who wrote The Infinite Way, my favorite thing that I...
You just had these taken yesterday.
Hardly, my darling. That's
Just as
probably
cute.
1960s, I would say. And your wife is here. There we are. What names would you like?
Ed and Ellen.
Ed and Ellen?
Yep.
Okay. What, Ellen? Oh, you're going to put it on the wall? All right, sweetheart. I'll be honored to be on your wall.
It was very nice meeting you.
Thank you, lovely, for you to bring your family, and
Thanks. Take
thanks
care
a
of
lot.
yourself.
Yes, I will. You do the same.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hi. Oh, there now. Is everybody finished with the photographs? Because then I'll take my time to, let me, yeah, we'll do this and then I'll do your stuff. Okay. Mike. This is the one that has the German.
Oh, is it?
Flight type. It's a poster in Germany. Some lady saw it. She said it's great. Or a placard outside. Don't go away though.
See, I was talking about my camera.
Yes. Tell me your name. Michael, another Michael. Good evening, sir. How are you? Did you enjoy that? Had you seen it before?
Yes.
Oh, well, then, no. Tom. All right, dear friend. What would you
for
like?
helping us, support independent filmmakers too. That was nice.
Oh, well, it's in your hands and in your hearts because God knows Hollywood's not doing it.
I know.
J, B or D?
B as in boy.
B.
Productions. PRODS is good enough. Okay, thanks.
You make a living at that, or kind of it's hard to do, isn't
Sorry,
it?
that's terribly B. Mrs.
Joe would
Voorhees.
control that. You could.
No.
Okay.
We'll just do it this way.
All right, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Do you want one of these crazy things?
I like the sweater because it looks the most like you.
Well, not really anymore, but. Didn't we have fun last night?
Yeah, that was so great.
Oh, there's a man. There's a man who
prepared.
knows who had it. Did you have it? Mama had
Jeff
it.
has it.
Jeff had it.
Jeff, sweet man. So you just want me to put
He's
down what
prepared,
you would like
yeah.
to have
Who wanted this, Pat? Where'd he go?
Pat?
Pat's gone again.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Pat?
Well, the hell with it. I'll just write Betsy Palmer.
That's good.
Ooh, come on, darling. Oh, these, you know what it is? It's the, probably not the pen. It's the finish on this. Oh, I don't know. Well, we'll.
See what we can do.
Is it working?
Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
It's not going to show up, I'm sorry.
You can see it from here. I can see it.
I can see it.
Oh, there's another one in? Oh.
We'll put it in the movie
Right
featuring
now.
Betsy Palmer's hair.
That's right. Yes. You know, I can stand there.
Just needed to be written, it wanted to be written with. That's all that wanted to
Yeah.
do. Okay, and I'll give you my black pen.
Oh,
so
that's
you'll
okay.
have that.
Okay.
Okay.
Hooray, Miss Palmer!
Okay, there we are.
Oh, wait, you
All
can
Well, I
right.
think Pat will just
Me
about wet
too.
himself now, so. Where'd he go? Where'd that boy go? Did you get your stuff signed?
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, it says 2 minutes.
Oh, there's
Oh, wait,
there are
maybe-
a lot
oh,
of
minute
there's
now,
one of
yeah.
me also,
Yeah.
just by myself, I hear. That's
I've
too
seen it.
bad,
Is
this
there a
one.
Betsy toy?
Yes, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you got.
Oh, there's a
residual
doll
of
for
these things,
Betsy?
huh?
Oh, that's right, but you don't.
I know.
You know.
Oh.
Okay. This one, I guess we'll have to do it down here.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. And I'll put Mrs. Voorhees down too.
Yeah, that's a nice poster. I like their artwork.
Yeah, it's a copy of the album. The
Yeah, but
original
it's-
exists somewhere.
it's
You probably
quite
pay someone
nice.
$200.
I like it,
I
and
like
I
the
didn't
layout.
realize it, that the Japanese took it from the bed with the pillow and the axe
I wanted
laying,
to get
lying
the-
on it.
Oh, yeah.
Laying on it, lying on it. Oh, God, I'm
It's
stumbling.
not
on
good,
chair.
okay.
Put your arm around me, there we are, and we can have a hug. Thank you, the girl with the beautiful, beautiful hair. And beautiful girl, too. Okay.
And a few more.
Oh, my God. Oh, but honey, these are hard. Oh, don't you love it? I didn't even know that there was one.